Hey people, hope everyone is doing great. Let me know if the audio is fine. I would really appreciate that. I'll go through the messages here in a moment. I have it's about 4 or 5 little videos covering a few topics I'd like to go through today. A little bit of social engineering stuff that we have to be aware of, especially our kids. Some regarding the changes, well, not changes, actually kind of the opposite of what's going on in China, and a couple of videos from Russian troops, that stuff that I just picked from YouTube. I didn't get anything weird or anything likely to be censored, so just warning for you, the YouTube people, these are videos that are already on YouTube, so don't bust my balls over what I'm showing you guys here. So let's get to it. Matt is fine. Matt is perfectly okay. I send him. We exchanged emails just today. The thing is this: first, he's always, in terms of um, availability and so on. When he has other stuff going on, when he has family stuff, boat stuff, of course, that's always gonna be a priority. And of course, the thing is, besides that, we disagree on the Russian thing regarding exactly why is it going on, and some disagreement there, and we debate about that quite a bit. And the thing is, at this point, especially with YouTube the way it is, I can't even have a debate with him, or discussion, or even talk with Matt freely, because mostly YouTube will immediately censor anything that they don't like. So he said, it's kind of um, you know not seeing the point in going on with that, but that doesn't mean we're great, and Matt is still a good friend of mine. That's not changing. It's only that if we are disagreeing on that and not even being able to talk much about that either, at least for now, yeah, we are. I mean, I'll let you know whenever, if he's available or he wants to come to the live stream. Door is always open, because, as I said, he is a good friend. Matt is a good friend of mine, and I don't change that because of a difference of opinion, and he doesn't either. It's just that, kind of continuing on with the same topic, not much of a point there. And of course, the stuff that he's doing besides that. So the CIA pick up Matt? No, Matt is not. Hasn't been taken by the CIA, at least for now. You never know with these bastards. But by the way, if you want to learn more about survival and preparedness, you can get a fantastic trilogy from my good friend Matt Bracken. And seriously, enemies, foreign and domestic. If you haven't read this already, you owe it to yourself, because he was, spot on, years ahead of time. And of course, the Bracken, the Bracken collection, essays, short stories, fantastic stuff from Matt there in the description of the video. So go read those and share it with people. Of course, you have my own books: Surviving the Economic Collapse, Street Survival Skills, Preparing for the Economic Collapse. More on that in the video. And the practical aspect of preparedness, street survival skills, is, seriously, I say this in all of my videos. Of course, I promote my stuff like a lunatic, because that's how you should do these things, especially these days. But a lot of what I explain here is, especially in the use of firearms training, that a lot of people simply do not have. I have had quite a bit of that over the years, and I share some of those key lessons here, and I try to explain that with as more as clearly as I can. So you have that stuff over there in the descriptions of the video. My books, Matt's books. I think it's all valuable stuff. So yeah, that's basically where it's at. One more thing I don't want to forget. I just did a fantastic live stream in my Spanish channel with Pablo Ortiz, the economist guy that has been in the channel before. He did a fantastic presentation. We talked about the economic crisis worldwide, specific things. He prepared a very nice presentation. I asked him if he could do it next weekend for the English channel. He speaks English quite well, so he will prepare that same presentation for next weekend. I think you really should. You owe it to yourself to listen to it, because I mean, many of the things we talk about here all the time, but very well presented in a very clear manner. So yeah, for next weekend, keep that in mind. Look it up for next weekend. So yeah, let me go through these and then start with the videos that I have here. Uh, Usually, what I mean, as of right now, usually you see, if I don't say that it's gonna be, I mean, like in the preview, I guess it is, or when you see the link, if you see the little picture with Matt and I, it means that Matt is gonna be. If not, he's not going to be in the live stream. So that's the way it is. So let's get to this stuff. Yeah, you ain't the same without Matt. Well, yeah, sorry for that. Guys, you can tell for yourselves if he is or not. And as I was just explaining, and I agree with him, if we're always going to be discussing the same thing, it's kind of always the same stuff. So, yeah. Conscious movie reviews. Matt may be on the live broadcast. When you look at the video notes, REFERRAL promoting Matt's books and says, "Hope you can join us." Yeah, well, yes, I'm not changing that. I mean, he can. I will keep having his. As I said, he's a friend, and I'm more than happy to promote his work. Not only because he's a good friend, but also because he does some fantastic work. And I honestly think you're better off by reading his books. Not seeing the matter. Well, last weekend it was actually, I was out of town, having a good time, enjoying life, and I don't share that all the time. You know how my channel goes. I'm not showing my wife. I'm not showing my kids, even though it would probably be very beneficial for me to do that, or showing everything around me. It's a choice. I know there's channels where they monetize the crap out of their families, their cute kids, their cute wives. I'd rather have my cute wife and my cute kids for myself. It's always been that way, a decision that I took earlier on, and I don't have the need to change any of that, and I wouldn't change it for anything. For all the money in the world, exposing my family like that, I just wouldn't do it. Bring on Charlie Dennett, author of Follow the Pipelines, to explain that the Ukraine-Russian conflict is a pipeline war. Well, there's a number of reasons why you have the war. I mean, talking always about the same thing, I don't know if there's much of a point to it. Mostly I see the issue of how is this affecting the poor people in Ukraine, of course, the poor people in Russia. I actually learned today about people, that were actually being smuggled out of Russia so as to avoid having them thrown into the meat grinder that it is, unfortunately for them, and unfortunately for the people in Ukraine. So, and yes, this is maybe one of the points in which we disagree. I see mostly as, the guy that is mostly responsible is one man, and most of the responsibility falls on him. The one that invaded. Yeah, that's the way I see it. And at the end of the day, you still have the same result. You see a lot of suffering for people in both countries. I think it's mostly for the Ukrainian people that have a foreign invader, and as of right now, bombing their civilian infrastructure, their power grid, which is insane. But it is what it is. We were talking about a number of interesting things today with Pablo. A lot of them, how preparedness can become sometimes very negative. So it's so easy to go down the rabbit hole of desperation, and everything looks like it's the end of the world, and everything is horrible, and there's no hope. That is super dangerous. That is, I mean, first of all, it's not real. First of all, it's not how the world is. As of right now, I walk around and have a great life. I don't see the world ending anytime soon. Even if we go down into some of the more apocalyptic predictions, which there's always the possibility, I'm not saying it's not the case. If you ask me personally, the possibility of third world war, I honestly don't see it. I think that we are playing with very dangerous possibilities. Yes, no doubt about that. But if the war is going this way, fighting Ukraine alone with all the support, of course, from the West that they're definitely getting, but man, there's no support within Russia itself for a third world war. I think that's completely out of the picture. Not always 100%, but pretty much so, at least the way I see it. Now, the possibility of things getting worse, yes, of course. Now, as we were talking with Pablo, and that's why I want to have him next weekend, the economic aspect of all of this, how the war is going to be used as a smokescreen so as to impose horrible economic hardships for all of us all over the West is terrible. And these are things that are already unfolding right now. And when you see inflation going through the roof, printing of money, that the moment you see inflation skyrocketing, that's money being transferred from the pockets of the average people, middle class, poor, and higher middle class, and even some of the rich people in the world being transferred directly into the pockets of the elite that are running things and often benefiting from these mechanisms that they ensure are in place. So we were talking about not only inflation but huge um, mechanisms by which they keep dragging and the white glove stealing of the population in general, so as to pay for the party that they already pay themselves. The money is already in their accounts. The elites already doubled their wealth this last few years, all right? And now we all have to pay for that. This is stuff that I've been talking for years now. So it really shouldn't be news to anyone. Let me just go through a couple more comments here and then start with some of the videos I have here. Do you think the false flag tactical nuke is coming? Seems like the media in Russia and Europe are brightening it up. Look, knowing for sure, I mean, man, I don't have a crystal ball. I just have a microphone. This is not a crystal ball here, so I cannot tell you for sure. Now the thing is this: a false flag tactical nuke, as if what? Someone else firing a nuke? I don't think that's within the cards as of right now. Anything could happen, but honestly, who's going to be like United States going to be pulling a false flag nuke attack? No, I think that's not likely at all. Is United States and the West, and especially the elite that benefits from the ongoing economy, guys. Sometimes I just wonder, do you know how the American economy works? Do you understand that when you're complaining about, oh, NATO is just stealing from us middle class people in the United States, do we understand that's how the American economy works? It's not new. This has been going on for what? I don't know, 60, 70 years. The American economy is based on military spending. So you can either choose. You can just crash your own economy. That's always a possibility. Just stop the military spending 100%. I'm sure the world would appreciate if the United States does not spend a single cent more on military interventions, wars, bombs, planes. Cut it completely and invest all of that in roads, securing your own borders, and improving the economic situation of Americans, right? We could do that. Okay, that's one of the ways in which the American economy would definitely crash. So that's not within the cards. Now, within the cards is starting another war and sending more American soldiers to die in Afghanistan, Middle East, South America, whatever. Pick something. Or one of the things that they are all giddily about is we can keep on spending the same money that we just need to spend to keep this military industrial complex based economy going and have people from other countries die while we just spend the money so as to keep going on that. Raytheon gets their money, Lockheed Martin gets their money. All of these companies, they get their money. It's not just the weapons manufacturers. Do you understand that like 70 or 80% of Google's, not Google, yeah, Google as well, but Amazon, the company that sells our books, guys, the companies that sell this stuff, Amazon, 70%, or I think it was 70 or 80% of the profit from Amazon is directly or indirectly linked to military contracts. It's not just about weapons, it's about paper, ink, computers, clothes, crap, stuff that is being bought and money spent. It's all through the military. So, this is why the United States is more than happy to bring everyone into NATO and justify the spending of all of this money, because that's how the American economy works. That's not how the German economy works. So that's why whenever you had Donald Trump looking at all of these guys in Europe saying, you are not spending enough money, they were like, of course we don't. That's not that's not how our economy works, right? That's not how we run our economies. You run your economy like that, and that's why you're more than happy to have us in NATO. And if we don't spend what we had agreed to spend on, you will still have us in NATO, happily so. It justifies your economy. That's how this works. Okay, Conscious Movie Review says Elon Musk is one of the biggest military contractors. Of course he is. I mean, how, you honestly didn't know any of this? Is all of this really news? Okay, well, learn something today. Yeah. Yeah, someone is offended on, yeah, dude, it is simply the way it is. You either like it or not, but I'm not making these things up. I mean, this is all more than easy to verify yourself. Just look at the military spending of the United States compared to any other country in the planet. Let me know what you find out. I read that the 101 Airborne was deployed on the Ukrainian border. True. I think that they are doing military exercise close to the Ukrainian border. I don't know if they're being deployed. I know if they were there already. I mean, because you do have American troops all over Europe already. You have military bases in different countries in Europe. They've been there, for since World War II. Have they increased their personnel? Yes. Are they running exercises in case there's further developments moving into NATO countries? Yeah, it would be stupid not to, I think. But yes, I think that there's people deployed close to the border or somewhere. Do you think a false flag? Well, we already addressed that. I can see them sacrificing New York City now that so much of the money has left. Oh man, Pat O'Connor, I don't know, man. Like attacking New York City, and I don't think it's even necessary. I mean, the conflict that you already have going on is more than enough just to keep the ball rolling. The money will keep going. You can complain all you want. They can pretend to complain. They will still get the contract signed and the money spent, because that's how the economy runs. It's just the way it is. The entire globe is using the US dollar as a world reserve currency. The US dollar is a debt-based system. It's drawn no money from tomorrow to pay for today. Yeah, basically that's the way it goes. And this is one of the systems that is unavoidably collapsing. Again, one of the things we were talking with Pablo today, how it's not sustainable. A purely debt-based system is slowly collapsing, sometimes more accelerated. So that's how it goes. Let me go through some of the other comments and let's get. Well, I have actually, regarding the Russian thing. Let me.
Ставрополя. Спасибо за такой
This
вообще.
this is, I mean, videos like these overflowing in Reddit. I mean, there's, of course, if you want to check some very interesting footage from the war, Reddit has quite interesting stuff, especially the use of drones. How both sides. I mean, that Russia is using these Iranian drones to hit on the power grid in Ukraine. Ukraine is using drones, basically dropping bombs over over Russian soldiers in the trenches. Yeah, very glorious stuff. But it just shows you. I mean, we're getting into a stage in which these are the times in which we're seeing the first drone war. A war that's being fought by drones. We're this far away from having all of these automated and basically just punching in targets into a computer and the drone, the artificial intelligence taking over from there. Now, the drones that I'm seeing from the Ukrainian side, and of course I can't show any of this because YouTube will immediately close down my channel. But it's very basic stuff. It's like a commercial little drone with a little grenade hanging from it, and they just release it on top of the guy and they just blow up. And sometimes it's terribly effective. There was one that nailed like 5 Russians in one shot. So it's impressive stuff. On the other hand, you have Russian soldiers saying basically what you see here.
Жесткий взгрев для бойцов, короче, которые мобилизованные. Вот эта вещь называется пейнтбольная маска из пластмассы. Вот. Такая вот фигня, короче. Они думают, что мы как эти Звездные войны будем ходить вот в этом говне, которое вообще не имеет никакого смысла и цели. Вот. За нательное белье, за дождевичок, за вот такую панамку модную, короче, ну хоть что-то полезное. Вот типа есть форма теплая, короче, зимняя, вот, ну только как-то получилось так, что все мобилизованные успели закупиться, короче. Термосок в 1 литр, короче, тоже полезная очень вещь, короче, она нам поможет. Но самое топчик, который есть, это тактические перчатки на ребенка, короче, потому что на мою руку они, ну, вообще как бы не подойдут. И ни одному бойцу они, короче, не подошли. Вот. А также еще, короче, самый топчик, что есть, это берцы. Берцы выполнены.
Anyway, you get the picture, right? They have, I mean, not even basic gear. They're being given like kitty gloves that don't even fit their hands. The rubber boots that are just worthless in the kind of winter they're going into. So on the Russian side, you have extremely poorly, regulated, in the words of the Constitution, regulated military. Well, the regulated Russian soldiers are going now to the fight. They don't even have socks at times. They have to buy their own socks themselves. He actually says that later on. They're giving, instead of giving them body armor, they are being given like an airsoft mask, plastic stuff, gloves that don't even fit it. And then there's this other one. Let me get this one up here. They're not being paid. They're not only not giving weapons, training, they're not being paid. And as I said, I actually was talking today with someone that they're having their family from Russia being, smuggled out of the country so as to avoid this crap. They give them a guitar, they don't give them guns. They give sheep and groceries to their families instead of paying them. So yeah, these are just a couple examples of what you see going on right now. It is, I don't see, and what all of this looks, at least to me, is this is not a country that has the backing of even their own people for even talking about a third world war against anyone. Who's this going to be? Russia against NATO? No, that's ridiculous. That is not. That's not a possibility. I mean, can you see this war go on for years? Yes. I absolutely see that happening, and especially because I absolutely see this benefiting economically some of the main players, and this is for for the elite Western side of things. This is a way in which they make a shit ton of money, and they justify the stripping of our rights here in the West. For Russia, for Vladimir Putin specifically, it's a matter of survival. The guy loses the war, he's out of the picture. Even if this drags on and things get worse locally for him, he is in a horrible position. And here's where you could think, okay, he could be cornered into doing something insane. Well, yeah, but the man is not insane. So, we all agree on that. He may have a very perverse ambitions of rebuilding something that we thought was long gone, such as the Soviet Union, but he's not insane. So using nukes, I don't think he's likely to do that. Anyway, communication cables were just cut in the UK waters and southern France. China just did a simulation to destroy Starlink. They are going after communications. Well, that's the other thing. That's a good segue for this other video, which is in China. Xi Jinping, or Mr. Xi, continues as chairman of the military commission, continues as yet another dictator in the region. The man had, I should have gotten that video, the man had the former president of China dragged in front of the cameras to make a statement of how he's running things. So this guy, you should be careful about. Installing loyalists, purging political opponents. Man, if you think this is going anywhere good.
面对新征程上的新挑战、新考验，我们必须高度警醒，永远保持赶考的清醒和谨慎，生而不息，推进全面成为替代，使百年大党在自我革命中不断焕发蓬勃生机，始终成为中国人民最可靠、最坚。
So you get the idea, right? The guy is probably going to go for Taiwan pretty soon. I think he sees the opportunity. I think he sees the rest of the world distracted by very real, very vicious conflict in Ukraine. But this is the opportunity. I mean, if I was a Chinese dictator, I would do the exact same thing. If I had that kind of ambition, I'd move on Taiwan soon as well. So how much is that of a chance? 50%, 60%, 10%? I don't know. But this would be the moment, and they definitely want to have Taiwan. Again, we're talking with Paula about how Taiwan is a key player in the future resource of microchips and semiconductors and the kind of tech that Taiwan is known for. China will not let go of that. So, keep that in mind. Yeah. Enslaved people, Tanker Jack. Chinese are leftist totalitarians who don't value life, just like the American left. Yes, of course, their end goal always the same: enslaved people, remove liberty. Well, yes. And why do you think it is they do the things they do? Why do you think it is that they poison the West all the time with their social engineering and their social reforming in many ways? That's the way it is. Yeah, Wade Wilson, Fer, you're not on the side of Clown World, are you? Great segue for some real action Clown World.
I did not send. I ordered.
So, talking about Clown World and talking about China, how is it that China attacks you, me, and everyone in the West with this kind of shit? The kind of social engineering that, I mean, I'm not going to fall for this. I'm not having a mental confusion as of what a man or a woman is or what deprivation is or not. This is from TikTok. This is just your, a individual that you'll see in a second, but this is TikTok. You know what TikTok is? TikTok is a platform from the Chinese Socialist Party. It's basically Chinese propaganda being spread in the West, Chinese social engineering in the West. What is it that China wants to do? Not to themselves. They don't allow this in their own countries. Russia does not allow this in their own country. You don't see this in Venezuela. You don't see this in Cuba. No, all of that as the wise, because given how things are confused these days, now we have to talk like that. The wise Ernesto Che Guevara, Argentine patriot, by the way, he had a very clear idea of what they should do with homosexuals. He was about putting them in camps and basically exterminating them. That was his idea of civil rights in an ideal communist world, eliminating the weak. You don't need any of these people. They're just too weak for the communist, socialist, Marxist revolution. You don't have in this China. You don't have in this in Soviet Union. Putin definitely does not allow this in his own country. They spread this in our countries. What is it that they spread in our countries? This.
Day one of being a girl, and I have already cried 3 times. I wrote a scathing email that I did not send. I ordered dresses online that I couldn't afford. And then when someone asked me how I was, I said, I'm fine, when I wasn't fine.
No, he's of course not fine. We see that he's a very, very, very disturbed individual. I did a video about this video just moments ago for the channel. These people have off the charts suicide rates, drug abuse rates, violence, domestic violence. The kind of domestic violence among these same whatever couples, it's 3 times more than what you have in people that don't have this this disorder, confusion, or whatever it is that has to be called today. Now, also notice this individual, bearded individual, saying that this is his first day as a girl. He says that he cries. So how insulting is this for an actual woman? The idea that if you're a woman, you cry like an idiot, you buy stuff you cannot not really afford, right? You say you're okay when you're not. And how perfect is this? How perfect is this with the Apple logo? Is that capitalism? Well, they have their actual business run in China, designed in Silicon Valley. Yes, spreading all this kind of propaganda, supporting all of this, but it's all the same. I mean, this is the perfect trinity of insanity and evil, as almost religious evil kind of thing. Apple, TikTok, and the woke agenda all in one. And it goes on, man. And the idea that he says that he's not a woman. It's very interesting that he dresses like a little girl and says that he's a little girl many times.
How'd I do, ladies? Good? Girl power. Day
Girl
2
power.
of being a woman,
Yeah, he says he's a woman. Before he says he was a girl. But the idea that a grown man says, yeah, I'm a little girl, always going for the more infant, always sexual. And the videos about the drag shows, the family-friendly drag shows. A family-friendly drag show is like a family-friendly drug dealer, right? It doesn't exist. There's no such thing. But always trying to confuse people, trick people into believing that which is against logic and essential reason. Okay, there's a super chat here from Knockface. Thanks, man, for a super chat. Much appreciated. Big Pharma is a true villain behind the trans agenda. It takes big money for drug, surgery, and physical maintenance, and they stand to make a lot more money when insurance taxpayers are made to pick up the tab. Well, yes, of course, it's a massive business. The pharmaceutical, I mean, again, topics we cannot even discuss here on YouTube, because if not, I get the video brought down live. It happened before, during the pandemic. We were talking about this with Matt, and all of a sudden it just went down. Do you have any doubt about how evil Big Pharma is? It's not just money. It's not just about making money. They of course, money runs supreme for these people. They they couldn't care less about the consequences of what they do as long as they make massive fortunes. But it's also about following and continuing a narrative that benefits the people in other areas as well, the owners of these companies. And yes, we're looking at Bill Gates as well and all of his very disturbed projections and his ideas for what the future of mankind should be. You just have to look into that just a little bit to see what good old Bill has in mind. Bill Gates, by the way, let's never forget, he was in Epstein's Island. He was in that flight. He has several flights to that place. That guy that pretends to be a little nerd and with the glasses. Yes, I created Microsoft in my middle class garage. It wasn't my mom working for IBM that actually got all of this sorted out along with other aspects of the government. No, it's just a nerd and computers playing video games. Yeah, sure. Yes. TikTok, as in the clock running down. But yes, he's Knockface is absolutely right. It is great for business. You're being forced to pay for this man's delusion, and he will one day have implants. You're talking about giving hormone blockers that are actually used to castrate children. That was in the Matt Walsh video, What's a Woman? The idea that you suspend puberty for little kids and that's has no consequence. You're chemically castrating people and then saying, yeah, you can just go back. No, you cannot even take aspirin without some kind of side effect. You think you can mess with someone's hormones as he's developing? I mean, you have to be either an idiot or be completely insane. Unfortunately, a lot of people are absolutely nuts. And yeah, I think this is the case. But bear with me. Just watch a little bit more of this insanity.
My best friend.
That's the best friend. So you have an insane old lady there.
Wearing matching dresses, and I'm here to buy some femme gorge lady clothes. Let's see what I find.
My current style is all over the place, but I just know I like to look fun. Hanging with the girlies.
Hanging with the girlies, talking about toys. So it's no longer that you have to call a man a woman, because if not, you're a racist and you're the worst person on the planet. Now you have to say that little plastic toys are girls. And we saw this already. You see this with grown-ass men that drag around one-on-one scale dolls and pretend those are their wives and their girlfriends, and they actually have conventions and they take their sex dolls to these conventions, dress them up, and we all just pretend that these are all normal people, that they're not insane, that the men that have conventions with sex dolls is sitting right next to them in that restaurant, in that hotel. They're not crazy. They're not dangerous individuals that may snap one day and do something terrible. No, they're just different. They're just funny that way. And this guy pretending that these little dolls are girls, yeah, that's normal too.
This is giving.
And well,
70s, the zip in the back.
Jesus Christ.
The hair, the makeup, the clothes, the high heels. It's a lot to keep up with. And I need to learn early on that those things do not make me a girl. It's what's in here that matters.
No, it's not what's here. It's actually what's down there that actually indicates if you're a woman or not. And we can all tell that right away unless we're crazy, right? The doctor does not assign anyone a gender. The doctor just uses very rudimentary skills in terms of determining if a little baby is a boy or girl, as we've been doing for literally hundreds of thousands of fucking years. So all of this gender assignment thing, the doctor assigned me at birth. No one assigns anything, but the kind of lunacy in which we're living is self-evident. Now, it's not accidental. And this is what Meloni, the prime minister of Italy, was saying: weakening the family, weakening individuals up to the point in which you are easily manipulated garbage, just consuming the crap they want you to buy. You're a slave to the system, and you don't even have the will. You don't have the fortitude in you to argue and fight against any of this. Enough of this crap. You just get the picture. But I just want to show this because it's just giving you a very clear picture. So TAC 556 says, uh, give him the SIG P320 to play with. Yeah, you know what? How long do we have still with those? The idea that we're still allowed to have tools just to defend ourselves, our families, our countries. Fortunately, there's hope. I mean, what I was saying before about Italy, that's a good example. If something good will come out of a lot of this, especially in Europe, in terms of what you see in Poland, is the closer you are to Ukraine, the more likely you are to see people that are becoming based and aware about how dangerous it is to be to be this kind of mentally
What do
disturbed
we think?
people,
It's simple.
right? This or being people that are capable of defending themselves, people that are actually, men and real women. Anyway, you get the idea. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna be doing a shorter one today. Just a few topics that I want to cover, and of course, keeping you guys company. So let me go through some of the other comments here. This might a way of bankrupt tag 556. This might be a way to bankrupt Russia like they did to the USSR. The West can outspend Russia any day. Yes, I think that's part of the plan. And I mean, it works on several levels, and Ukrainians, they're fighting for their survival. So anything you throw their way, they will grab. They will use. I mean, you can just give them rocks, and they will throw them at Russians. If you get them missiles, they will throw missiles. And of course, I mean, who would do anything else? I mean, if I'm being attacked and I have to fight for my survival, anything I can get hold of to fight, I will use, and I will ask for even more and more until you defeat your enemy, which is makes perfect sense. At least for me, it does. So as a country fights for its survival, yeah, they will use any weapon you get, and if it's in the financial interest of the United States to keep that going, yeah. Is it in the financial interest of the United States to cut this war short? Maybe not. Maybe that's why they're not giving them the long range HIMARS missiles that they would probably use to be a lot more effective, right? Instead, it's more, keep it in self defense. Don't do anything that's too effective, right? We would never want to do that. Anyway, Wade Wilson, Germany can't even wage war for a few days because they don't have ammunition. NATO is in no shape for a real fight, not even remotely. Well, I can tell you this. If you see the state in which the Russian military is, they wouldn't last a couple days against half of the NATO allies that exist as of right now. I'm not even talking United States, all of them. I'm talking about if they are struggling this bad against Ukraine. I mean, you could just eliminate basically all of their military capabilities in a matter of days if you use the air force that NATO has at its disposal from the different NATO members. NATO is going to be a lot, guys. Get used to the idea. NATO is not going anywhere. In case you haven't realized, NATO gained two new, actually serious countries, pretty powerful new additions. So this is going great for NATO. It sucks for Ukraine, but for NATO, it's going fantastic. NATO is, and when I say NATO, yeah, it's mostly United States, and it reflects in the economy. I mean, you have to see this. The U.S. dollar is holding strong, while the pound is destroyed. Pound is collapsing, about to collapse to pieces. The euro is somewhat hanging there, but definitely the one that's holding on is the world's reserve currency, the Federal Reserve note debt bill, the US dollar. And it's not a coincidence. It's because the economic projections, given what we're seeing, are not that bad for the US economy. This does not mean that the economy applies to everyone. The economy may be great for some of the most rich, some of the richest people that are part of it in the West, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be good for the middle class and poor in the West as well. these are the ones that are likely going to be struggling. And of course, yet another benefit is, you know what? We have the perfect scapegoat. Oh man, the war in Ukraine. Of course, that's why you're poor right now. It's not that we're spending a ton of money and that we already spend a ton of money. So you can have people, yeah, even more spam. Nice, guys. I always want some Tinder spam in my. If I don't have some Tinder or some triple X site spam, it's not a live stream. Look, you have people that will blame Russia. You will have people that will blame Ukraine, even though I can't see how the logic on that goes. But the idea is people will always blame someone else. You can blame Ukraine if that goes for you. You can blame Russia. You can blame the pandemic. Now, you will not blame the people that actually, in many ways, are responsible for the mass transfer of wealth that we've been seeing these last few years, and we'll see even more of. So, it works perfectly for them in that way too. 4 more states plan to secede from Ukraine to be part of Russia. Which ones? What? I mean, he already annexed them, right? Isn't it what he did? He annexed the he annexed the regions that are already being lost. Let me check some more. Either Bank of Japan or Bank of England will go down first. The Bank of England, the British economy is terrible. It's in a very bad shape, and people over there in very bad shape as well. Knockface, I dressed up and went undercover as a woman. Did you actually do this, man? Let me know. Seriously, answer here in the comments. I dressed up and went undercover as a woman and went out on the town to understand what they go through every day. And you know what? I learned they call me yeah. No, this is something I was saying in it's so insulting. Guys, seriously, let's not joke about this. I mean, it's always the easy joke. And how insulting is it for women that a guy, I mean, imagine if I sitting here with my beard and I go, yeah, I'm a woman right now. Yeah, I don't even have to shave or pretend to be one. It's in here. I'm a woman. Do you know how insulting that is for women? Talk with your wives, talk with your girlfriends, and ask them how they feel when a dude just says, yeah, I'm a woman right now. So you were not born a woman. You didn't go through your early years as a child, as a little girl, knowing that the boys were stronger than you. Maybe when they're very, very little, there's not so much of a difference. But even prepubescent teenagers, they understand. A girl will understand that she's physically not as strong as a boy, and she just has to deal with that. That's the hand you've been dealt with, all the wonderful things that for sure a woman has going for her in her life. I'm sure that women would not want to be a guy. I mean, unless you're crazy, a man does not want to be a woman, and women would rather not be men because they love being women. Those that are not crazy, women love being women unless there's something very wrong in their heads. Guys, I don't know any guy that would like to be a woman. I certainly wouldn't. So with all of the great things that it has certain aspects that are more challenging, for sure. Being a woman, I'm pretty sure it's not easy. I wouldn't like to be, vulnerable to stronger men that can easily overpower you. And of course, even as a guy, as a dude, there's going to be someone that's stronger or whatever. But for women, that's basically half of the people out there. Those are guys. You're already lost to them. Even biologically, what J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, she's pretty damn left wing. But when she said people that menstruate, like women that menstruating is not fun for them. Once a month, you're bleeding out and you have horrible pains in your body, and that's just so as to one day maybe be fabulous. It's fantastic, and that's one of the reasons why people like my wife. She loves being a mother. She loves being a woman. She wouldn't have it any other way. But it's not easy, and it involves a lot of sacrifice, a lot of coping with what you are, and to have this fucking idiot pretend that he's a woman because it's in here. I'm a woman right now. It is a slap on the face of all women. It's a slap on the face, even on the on feminists, like real feminist women that at some point had to fight for the right to vote, for the right to own property, like men. Women that made a point of having real rights acknowledged to them, and this asshole just says, "Yeah, I'm a woman. Fuck you." That's how it works. It is very insulting. Anyway, guys, just wrapping it up. Let me go through a couple. Knockface, you're joking. Okay, yeah, man. I got that. Yes. Um, um, I'm betting Bank of England goes first. Yes. The military open industry loved war, money from the taxpayers. Yeah, of course. Yes, for sure. Absolutely. Same old story since World War One. Yeah, completely agreed. Conscious movie reviews. By the way, guys, I have my little channel that's about video games and movies. And little by little, I keep adding stuff. I'll try to do a couple more movie reviews. I already have some stuff if you want to check it out. It's called Gem Reviews. I do I do a lot of this, of Star Citizen, which is a video game that I'm playing right now. And talking about this, Star Citizen, the way in which the it's being developed, like what this Mark Zuckerberg, the metaverse, the transhumanism thing. Another topic we were talking with Pablo just moments ago. This video game, it has a very evil aspect to it, which is an alternative. I mean, yes, it's fun as a game, but you can also see how it could be used. It's a game in which you live basically in a space simulation. So you're a dude flying around very cool spaceships, which is why I play it, why I have content on my channel about it. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Still in development. Anyway, lots of controversy regarding Star Citizen itself. If you want to go check it out on my channel, you can certainly do that. But the way in which you can basically live your life in that game. You can move around entire planets across the entire surface. You can fly your little spaceships and do all of the fun video game thing. But you can also buy clothes. You can buy shoes. You can, eventually it could be like owning property. Like we've heard already of people buying real estate in MMO games that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this goes back to the great reset thing of you will own nothing. Everything you will own will be in a virtual world. And that's one of the things that I think we've missed in terms of you'll own nothing, that like you'll be poor, right? You'll be very poor. No, you'll own nothing in something like a Ready Player One, which is a movie you definitely should watch, actually. And there's a book as well, but the movie is okay. Living in a virtual world. The clothes you wear, you're not wearing them yourself in the real world. No, your character buys them in the artificial world, in the fake world, right? In the verse, in the metaverse. And we actually call it the verse. Those of us that play Star Citizen, it's referred as the verse, right? But not only that, someone was asking, oh, you eat there as well? Yes. Your little character guy has to eat as well. And you can buy different kinds of food. How long will it be until we actually end up having our brains connected into that thing and no longer live in the real world? All you do is like in that Bruce Willis movie, I don't remember the name, someone will probably know it, that Bruce Willis movie where people just connect their heads to the metaverse and live there because it's better, it's more fun, you're better looking, you don't get tired, you don't die there, you can do insane, stupid things, risky things with no consequence. You can do absolutely whatever fantasy you have and not have to put anything at risk. I think that's a very dangerous thing. So as much as I enjoy the game, I absolutely see that tech getting to a point where that's where humans pretty much end up enslaved in a transhuman world. Yeah. I know it's kind of dark stuff and I don't want to end the video with that, but man, it came to mind. Anyway, let me go through some of the last comments. Check out the lines of food banks in parts of Japan. Okay, I will do that. I wasn't aware of it. Yeah, people are suffering all over. No one's having a great time right now. Tanker Jack, only women can have children and thus hold the greatest strength. Wombs ultimately win wars. Societies that neglect birthing future generations will fail. Well, we're already doing that right now all over the world. It's not even the West. It's really all over the world. Other than some parts in Africa where there's a more than 2.1 fertility rate, the rest of the world is pretty much screwed. We don't in Europe, forget about it. United States, also forget about it. It's not 2.1. It's definitely not in the sustainable number. If it's not 2.1, 2.1 is what you need to replace the existing humans. For every man and woman that could conceive a child, those two need to conceive at least two, so as to replace them. Now it's 2.1 because of early deaths, babies that don't make it or whatever happens. So it's, instead of just being 2, it's 2.1 replacement fertility rate. No country in the West has that. Latin America used to be that. I don't think there's any country left in Latin America that has a over 2.1 fertility rate anymore. It's just, women don't want to have kids anymore. They want to have their careers. They don't want to be the stay-at-home mom that doesn't do the fun stuff that they saw in Sex and the City and whatever bullshit crap they've been brainwashed with. So that's where we are, man. That's how it goes. Hit the like for Fernando. Yeah, thanks, guys. Much appreciated. Thumbs up. Thanks, guys. The Matrix was a good representation too. Yes, the Matrix was a good representation. I think we're slowly getting to that technology. Trust me, if you like video games and you try this one, it's really not all that different. I mean, it's already not there already, but the idea that you can move around, do absolutely anything, and it keeps on improving. Yes, of course, still not perfect, but what exists already points you into a very clear direction. Conscious movie reviews. When Samsung introduces 6G, the virtual reality will be on a higher level. The WEF wants kids to not have to go to physical school, just learn through virtual reality. Yeah, stay in your house, connect through this virtual reality world, and you know what? This is gonna be sold as we're more connected than ever. No, that's all a lie. You're more connected now. This is all better, right? You can socialize with the entire planet. No, you socialize with no one. You live in a fantasy, unreal world where all you see is just representations of other people that are not there. You don't have real human connections. So again, stuff that we were talking with Pablo, in terms of our kids, get your kids involved in physical activities, in sports. I have my oldest son, who's already a man, doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu, loving that. My son in the middle, he's doing 3 times a week judo, 2 times a week swimming. Sports, stuff that requires physical movement, contact with other people, challenging yourself, hurting yourself at times, struggling to achieve things that require a certain amount of effort, and not all about instant gratification. The video game thing, this is all instant gratification. Maybe not Star Citizen because it's a pain in the ass, but you get the idea. And that's what's being pushed on our society. We have to do something about it, because if not, our kids, that's a big part of preparedness. If you forget about your kids and taking care of that, the brainwashing will take over. Lone Gunman X, they want us to live in pods and eat bugs and play video games. Yeah, basically that's it. I logged out and then back. I'm now 80 audio is okay, good for that. Thank you, Fernando, for what you do. Thanks, man. Tanker Jack, much appreciated, really. So yeah, that's gonna be all for now, folks. Seriously, for next weekend, I asked Pablo already to do this, the presentation that he did. Don't miss it. I promise it was great. It's absolutely worth it. So see you next weekend. Okay, a couple more questions. Fernando, they're expecting heat energy issues in Britain, Germany. What about Spain? As far as I know, really, across Europe in general, there's supposed to be enough energy for all of winter. They are, in case of Germany, they are bringing in liquefied gas from the United States and many other countries. So yeah, definitely benefiting the U.S. economy with lack of incoming gas from Russia. So there's huge ships arriving to Germany of liquefied gas, and they have built these stations in record time. And yeah, so as of right now, and especially I was reading that there's predictions of weather already, and it's not a particularly cold winter, at least in the initial months. So as of right now, there's not likely to be any shortages. Now, there's gonna be an economic problem. This is what we were talking about with Pablo this afternoon in my Spanish channel. So there's not gonna be a shortage of gas. Europe is not gonna be freezing, and there's not, as far as I know, there's not even gonna be much of a rolling blackout thing, anywhere. And it's not all countries in the same position, and there is some internal fighting between Spain, well, not Spain, but France and Germany. France is a little bit like screw you, Germany, in some aspects. Spain could send gas to Germany, and France is not allowing for the connection to go through France, which is kind of shitty from the French themselves. But I guess they have their reasons. Anyway, there's gonna be enough gas, and after winter, there's going to be, solutions, and there's already dealings with our country. So what we're seeing mostly, guys, in Europe and in the rest of the world, it's an economic problem. It's a loss of quality of life for most of the middle class, and definitely the lower middle class and poor for years to come. It's going to be a massive transfer of wealth that we've already seen, and just goes on. When my son is out playing sports, riding bikes, etc., he's happier. Video games, sitting inside, unhappy. Got to fight the psyops, meddling, harming us. You're right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yes, that's the way it is. If you just park a kid in front of the TV, it's very convenient. It's fat. It's easy. They're not bothering you. They're just like little zombies there, but it's not healthy. Conscious movie reviews. About 2 years ago, Facebook was developing the idea of being a virtual country where you're a citizen of, with its constitutional rights, you can do business and money transactions with ours. Yes, that's basically what you're looking at. It's going to be either Facebook, someone else, but someone will eventually create artificial virtual world that is nicer, cooler, more fun than the one we're actually in right now. And it's going to be a game changer for us all. Why would you want to be in this world when the other one is so much better? I'm serious. I'm asking, why would you want to be here if everything is better when you hook your brain into this virtual world, right? And we're going to be leaving, the world for the elite that actually owns everything. And we are like in Ready Player One, living in little pods and bunkers, one on top of the other, like a little shanty town. Yeah. Anyway, natural gas prices collapsed 30% in the last month. The Putin panic is over. Well, yes, the thing is, the predictions of Europe freezing this winter, they're just not materializing. There's already enough gas stored for all of winter. Basically, I think that I think that Germany was at 95 or 98%. Anyway, that's basically how it's looking as of right now. Things can change, of course, but as of right now, that's why the price is going down. Hey, Fernando, sorry, I'm late, busy. That's okay, man. Don't worry. What about Matt? Just came on late. Yeah, just watched the beginning of the video. I explained things over there. So yeah, that's gonna be all for now, folks. Take care. All the best. Thank you for all your support, and see you next time. Take care.